All right, guys, a few more minutes. I'm just getting things prepped over here. And we will start shortly. Hey, Daniel, good to see you there. All right, guys, another minute or two. We have we have multiple guests today that will be joining us. Hey, Jason. Steve is there. Welcome, everybody. A lot of housekeeping items. I'm assuming everybody hears me well, right? Oh, wow. Jason catching fish already. All right, everybody. So we are joining basically a minute early. I hope everything goes well today. Now, remember, we are getting absolutely blasted by the blizzard today. It's going to be awful. The eye itself is going to be passing somewhere close to me. If at any point live stream ends, you'll know that we basically lost power. That would be really the reason why. All right, so tonight we have a great show. Again, hopefully we'll get through it without much hiccup. Paylakes. Does it get any more controversial than this? And you know what? Everybody avoids that topic like treating it like a red-haired stepchild. Time to tackle it head on. Talk about the details, what they about, what they do right, what they do wrong. My job today is to basically moderate a conversation between a couple of guests, ask some tough questions. Really, the purpose of it is to get information. While we all have our preconceived notion about what they do, what they are, I think it's important to get it all out there so then we have all the information to properly make our minds up and form correct, educated opinions after we summarize it all together at the end. Not here to change anybody's minds. God knows I have my opinions as well, but there are also some things that I would like to know. So we're going to ask all those tough questions. I'm going to have a couple of guests who will be, quote unquote, debating this, not just between each other, with us. We will take questions from the public. So whatever is lingering in the back of your mind regarding this, keep it there and ask those questions. So before we start, and we have a couple of guests waiting to join already, before we start, couple of housekeeping items as usual. We have a free giveaway today at one point during the live stream. And we are giving away a fancy schmancy Italian carp fishing reel And I have the pictures of it pulled up over here because I dropped it off at the store already on Friday to make sure that it's there ready to ship on a Tuesday after the holiday, to make sure I don't forget it. Let me show you that. This right here is I believe that's a K-Carp company. We imported them straight from Italy. Size 10,000, I believe. And it is solid made. That much without using it, I can tell you. It is solid made. So we will give it away today. We're going to do a traditional raffle where you pick your number between 1 and 1,000 at the time when I announce it, not now. And we will give it away to one lucky winner. Okay, so we have that cooking for today. But also, until midnight today, we have free shipping going on with coupon code SHIP0. Okay, so coupon code SHIP0 until midnight. I'm going to post a link in my live stream everywhere. It's free shipping until midnight Eastern time. Okay? Not Pacific, not West Coast, Eastern time. Code SHIP0. I just posted a comment all together. It's not case sensitive. So keep this in mind. It's until midnight, so you don't have to rush right now. You'll have plenty of time to do this. And before we begin, just because I have it next to me, I posted this a couple of days ago. Carp Angler product. Let me plug it in. The cool running rig. I think this is absolutely phenomenal. It's similar to the Fox one that I was using back in the day. Almost identical. Free running rig. What's so different? That it uses swivel lead, and it has a pin over here that allows you to change the lead to anything else that you would like. So interchangeable lead, and it's a beautiful piece of cheap equipment. I'm going to drop you a link to that because I just absolutely love that product. I'm dropping this in the comment section so you guys have it there. And let's move on. All right. So our guests today, we will have possibly 3 guests plus me today. We will have our pro staffer, Jami. We will have Joe Lutz. And we will have Justin Keaton. Okay. All of them wanted to join to shed some light on paylakes, answer some questions, not just from me, but from the crowd as well. And frankly, talk among each other as well and see if we can maybe debunk some myths, maybe clarify some things. I definitely have some interesting questions, and basically see where that takes us. Let me slowly start connecting my guests, and I'm going to start with Justin. Let me bring Justin in one moment. Justin, brother, how are you?
Hey, good. How about yourself, Rafael?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us. Justin, give me one more second. I have Joe already. Joe Lutz is with us. I'm going to also bring him in on the air. He's in the waiting room. Let me connect him right now.
Okay, awesome.
I'm still waiting for Joe. Okay, so Justin, I'm waiting for Joe, and we are waiting for Jami to join.
Okay.
Okay. let's get the party started. Okay,
Oh,
Justin, tell us a little bit more about yourself for those who don't know. You're probably not that many out there, but tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from, where you're fishing from, what type of fishing you're doing, and a little bit about your background.
well, I'm from Indiana. I started fishing pay lakes really when I was 7. It's what my mom did. She did it with her friends. We had a little farm that we kept some horses at and whatnot right in front of a pay lake, so it was easy just to dip from the farm, walk up the hill, and now I'm at Wagon Wheel Pay Lake, which is no longer. They closed it. Um, but no, I got to fish there. We had an RV. We kept at Monroe Reservoir, which is down in Paintown, Bloomington, Indiana. So also got reservoir fishing as well. We were there almost every weekend. So I got the best of both worlds. As I grew up, all my friends were all at the Pay Lake. So through the years, I just continued going back to the Pay Lake, to the Pay Lake. Through the years, I've also traveled and ventured. I've fished 28 different states. I've tried tournaments. I've went and just did, week sessions on my own. Um, just trying to learn as much as I can, teach as much as I can, and soak it all in and just enjoy it.
Tournament fishing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, how how much do you do tournament fishing? Let's start with wild water tournament fishing.
Oh man, wild water tournament fishing. Um, well, let's go back 6, 7 years ago when we had a bait and tackle store here. It was called Westside Bait and Tackle, owned by Jim Donlin. He held the White River Invitational, which we still have, and the Fall Classic, which we still have. But he also had the White River Carp, Tournament Trail, and the Hoosier Carper Tournament Trail. I think there was 10 or 12 tournaments per little trail there. So for a while, I mean, just in our state, you had a good 24, roughly, close to 30 maybe, that you had opportunities to fish. I got blessed and was able to travel and fish with Christine Simpson, and we fished Baldwinsville. We fished Texas back when it had the tournaments there. Wisconsin, fished the Tri-State Regional, which was in Michigan. Ohio versus Indiana versus Michigan. Um, I've been blessed. I've fished, I think, 12 years, I believe, Baldwinsville. Both spring and fall, different years. I haven't fished both at the same year. I pick one or the other. I fished Connecticut, I believe, 6 years or 5 years. Texas, I fished 3 years before they stopped that. Jason Bernhardt used to run that tournament trail down there, or that tournament down there. I never fished the ACC, which was the Awesome Carp Championship. I never fished it. I've never fished the CCC. I wanted to, and it was back when it was in Chicago before it started, transferring to different places and whatnot. I just didn't get the chance to. Um, Seaway Six Pack, I have fished it once. Um, so I mean, I've ventured out. I've fished a couple tournaments. I haven't fished New River yet. Planned on it. The KCCA, I plan on fishing it.
So, needless to say, you have a vast amount of experience fishing the, as we call them for the purpose of this live stream, right? Wild water tournaments, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, I already have some questions popping up from the public
Hmm.
that I would like to bring up, and maybe you can help us in your own words before other guests join. Clarify.
Yeah,
Some of them are already asking. Some of them are from UK. Some of them are asking here in the States. What is
yes.
a pay lake exactly?
It is a pond that a group of guys or fishermen, I'm gonna say women and whoever whatnot, can go and pay to fish a pond that's been stocked. Whether it be that wherever they've got them, that's on them. Most bought, they have loads of fish coming in, and they stock the lakes and they let people pay to fish them. You know, it's in a way. I want to say in a way it's like the big lakes over in the UK. Like you have to pay to fish them, and they stock them with these big lakes. But we stock our lakes over here. I don't want to say we. It's the owners of the lakes choose to stock their lakes with multiple umpteen thousand pounds of fish, all ranging from 9 pound to 30 whatever weight, whatever it may be. So there's a lot of fish in these smaller lakes. So it
Okay. So most of us, I think, get the idea. Confusion to some is because they wonder what the controversies are, since it is, in theory, so similar to the UK paylakes. I think we can call them that as well.
yes.
So let's jump straight to it, right? So you got paylakes quite popular in parts of the country. I think they are quite popular in your area. Are they?
Yeah, we used to have, I think, 10 roughly. We only have 4 now. So
Okay.
I mean they've slowly closed through the years.
Okay. How often will you fish up Pay Lake?
Um through the Once it's open, man. Um that's a hard one to say, really, depending on I love
In a year, how often will you go? Are you going as often as to fish on the wild waters, or is it just a little bit less,
yes.
more?
Yes, sometimes more.
Okay. Uh,
I want to fish with my buddies, and a lot of my buddies aren't driving 2 3 hours away to go sit for 24 hours to wait on a bite. You can go to a pay lake and you can go and sit with 12 of your buddies on the same bank, laugh it all up, and everybody's catching 20, 30 fish, in a 12-hour session.
so
Oh.
give us. I think it's going to be the most fair if you give us a little bit of a background, whatever you can tell us. Those who have never fished a Pay Lake but are interested. Um, what is the history of the Pay Lakes? That's number one. And number two, how how were you interwoven into that?
As far as history of the pay lakes, what do you mean by that?
His, when did they start? How old are they? How old is that tradition? And how do you fit into that? Were you born into it? Tell us anything that you absolutely can to
Um,
shed some light.
so the pictures they have on a lot of them have pictures on the wall, from the years or whatnot. Man, pay lakes have been around since the 50s and 60s. It was a place just to get together with your buddies and just go fish. I was interwove with it, like I said earlier, because we had a little place right in front of a pay lake, and I mean, when I mean right in front of it, we shared the driveway with it. So, like all I had to do was walk the further back on the driveway, and I was at Wagon Wheel Pay Lake. So I grew up at it. You know what I mean? That's what my both my mom and my stepdad did. That's what all their friends did. It was a place for me to get away and not be, stuck in the house. It was either out on the farm or it was up at the lake, and I chose to be up at the lake.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. By the way, Joe Lotz just joined us live.
How we doing, Joe?
What's up?
Hey,
Hey, long
Joe.
time no see.
Hey, how y'all
Good to
doing?
have you live, brother.
Doing good. Just on the way back with some wifey some food. You got to keep wifey happy. Everybody
Oh
says
It's
that.
yeah, oh
That's
yeah.
okay. Joe, for those very few probably that don't know who you are, give us a brief introduction. Who you are, what you do.
Well, my name is Joe Lutz. Own Creekside Carp Pond. Own a couple flavor companies. Um, I just try to take care of the babies and try to bring the people the right product.
Well, Joe is a little bit too modest. So let me fill in a couple of blanks. As much as it pains me as a bait maker now to say it, he makes really badass boilies. I
Yes,
told him
yes.
to make sure that he never starts selling it because they will be a problem. Okay,
Nah,
for
I can't. I
me.
can't do that. I can't.
Um,
The problem is I ain't gonna compete against my own bait.
but thank God
Yeah.
Joe is very busy with his flavoring companies. So he's making, gazillions of dollars there. So he's not interested that much
Ah,
in
that's
the
fun.
actual boilies.
Oh wow,
Um, but yeah,
wow.
look, Joe is obviously a hell of an angler, and for the purpose of this live stream, Joe is going to be very pivotal to what we're talking about because he actually owns a pay lake. So we will have a lot of questions for Joe, and Joe, I'm sure, is going to have a lot of insightful information for us. Okay, so
Yes, and I'll be honest and all that. Yes.
absolutely, and this is why I wanted to invite Joe, because I knew that we're going to get the raw answers that we are really seeking. So let's start with this one, Joe. You own one pay lake,
Yes. One.
one pay lake. Then what's the name of it again?
New. It's the name of it's the New Creekside Carp Pond. It's actually Creekside Carp Pond,
Where is it located?
Dale, North Carolina.
Okay, there it is for everybody interested to look it
Yep.
up. Joe, for how many years are you running that pay lake?
Okay, I've had it probably 9 years, but it's probably been there 40 years.
Okay, okay, and you've been involved with it for that long.
I've been involved with it for 9 years, but the man that built it, the Army engineers come out and built it, and he passed away, I bought it from him before he passed away
Got it. Fair
because
enough.
I fished there when I was a kid.
Okay, so Justin, question for you, because I know you're coming from the background of pay lakes and now also wild water. What's your just a general opinion of the pay lakes? Because I know that this is where opinions get split a lot.
Yes.
What's your general opinion of the pay lakes?
What's my general opinion of
Yes.
paylakes? I love them.
Okay. Tell
I
me
I
why.
the camaraderie, I'm not gonna lie, the gambling, just the hopes of catching that big fish, the knowing that every time that rod runs, and hopefully you're gonna get many runs, that it could be that fish, you know. But mainly, to be honest with you, it's just hanging out with my buddies. Like I said earlier, I mean, I can go there with 10 of my buddies. We can take up the bank and we can laugh it up for a 12-hour session and not worry about anything. It was a place that's where I could do when I was a kid. It was a place my mom kept me out of trouble when I was a kid. People ran the streets. I'm from Indianapolis downtown. It's not really the best of places sometimes. It was an easy way for her to keep an eye on me, and it was instilled in me through the years. And I mean, everybody pretty much, I'm sure a lot of people know Tommy Pearson. That's my
Yes.
best friend.
From the
He fit,
Team Fish Fighters, right?
yes, yes. So that's my best friend. Been for 35 years. We met at a pay lake. That's who I pay lake with. I fish tournaments at pay lakes with him. There's four different events a week. We used to fish all four, like religiously. Now we just fish one or two. So, I mean, I fish a pay lake as much as I do wild, for sure. Now I do a lot longer sessions when I'm wild water fishing big tournaments, or just going to say Del Hollow or up to Michigan City, or
So
so.
before I start touching on the more sensitive subject, you mentioned gambling. That's very prominent in pay laking because I see this from my feed. Uh, how does it work? Explain to me the gambling portion of pay laking. How does it work exactly?
I mean, you pay to be in whatever event that is at the time. And whether it be a spot tournament where you got to hit so many spots, or the biggest, say it's a 10 spot tournament, the biggest 10 fish caught through the night, they're going to get paid. um it's I mean, I hate to use the word gambling, but I really don't know any other way to technically put it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going and you're putting
Everybody
money on
calls it that. I think it's fair to
I
call
mean
it that.
legitimately, like, I mean, that's the only way I can really put it.
Okay, that's
But
that's
it's
fair, and that's how we
like
really all know it.
our lakes here. I know in North Carolina they have floaters, where they pull a certain weight, and if you hit that weight, that you hit the floater. Here we have jugs, what we call jugs. If you hit the weight or in between the weight of the jug, you win the money that's put in that jug, and that will accumulate until somebody hits that jug.
I see what you mean. So specific weight of the fish in between some two weights. The money goes
Yes.
into that jug, and whoever hits it will win that.
Or it's an exact weight. Like, let's say it could be a 21.3 to a 21.5. Or it's an exact weight, say 24.1, and it has to be exactly 24.1.
Okay,
So
got it.
yes,
Joe, so first big question. You knew I'm going to ask this. Where do the fish that end up in the pay lakes come from? I hear stories that are, well, I hear multiple different stories. I hear that some of the fish are basically caught or downright, let's say, stolen from wild waters so they can be sold. I hear another story that fish can be purchased maybe from those same people, maybe not, tell me, that normally would end up as fertilizer or go to the fish market. Where do the fish that end up in pay lakes or in your pay lake come from? Do you have the same
Yes, sir.
practice as most of the pay lakes, or is it any different?
No, but I do want to say something. He was talking about people fishing ponds. Down in North Carolina, I don't know about up there. We got a lot of seniors. I'm
Okay.
talking about
yeah,
70, 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old men and women that come to our pond and fish 8-hour sessions. They're not going to go sit on the riverbank wild water fish because, they'll stumble. I mean, some of them in wheelchairs. There's people in wheelchairs. There's people with walkers. There's people, disability that come to our pond and fish that do enjoy it because they don't want to sit home. They have nothing else to do. We do to
exactly.
make sure people do understand that. It ain't just the kids; it's also elder people too that enjoy the fishing. So it gives them something to do, get outside instead of watching TV during the day. They
It's
live on
absolutely.
disability. I mean, Social Security, they only get so much money.
Yeah,
So I mean,
Okay.
you can come fish on a pond cheaper. You can go to the movie theater.
Okay. So that's
I mean,
definitely adding another layer
yes.
of social aspect to the pay lakes. Right. So thank you for explaining that. By the way, Jami just joined
Right.
us, our pro staffer. She's here
Yep.
listening. We're going to plug her in with some questions in a few moments.
Yep.
But Joe, continue regarding where
Yep.
the fish are coming from that end up in a pay lake.
Okay. Yep. The fish. Yep. So the fish. So where I get my fish, and most people I know that get their fish, they get them from Wisconsin. They get them from Michigan. They get them from Tennessee. They get them from Alabama. They get them from Louisiana. They get them from different places across the United States. So the state pays these people to catch these carp for the dead market for fertilizer. So they'll give them 35 cents, 25 cents a pound to go out in boats, use gill nets or seine nets and catch them. And they're going to die. They're going thousands and thousands. I'm talking about, I think Michigan, there's 1,000,000 pounds a year, if not more than that, get took out.
wow.
I'm talking about millions and millions of pounds of buffalo. So when we first, you have to understand, carp ponds opened 80, 90 years ago before wild waters even thought up in the United States. Start off with. And so what happened was the market guys got hold of some people down here running catfish ponds. They was like, look, instead of us taking these carp, sell them to the dead market, won't y'all buy them for 40 cents, 25 cents back then, and put them in the pond and let people enjoy them instead of just killing them. So
Okay.
that's actually how carp ponds got it started in North Carolina. Carp ponds have been around for 80, 90 years. But back to you, where you said to get our fish from. So you got a choice. You can buy them, or you can send them in to the dead market and let them die. So
So
you do actually every year have also a Jewish holiday. A lot of people don't know about. Where I get my fish from, they probably give to a Jewish holiday 200,000 pounds a year, a carp for them to eat.
okay.
Wow.
So
That's yeah, yeah.
so Joe, so that's one way to get it. So I understand that is one way of getting the fish, the legal way.
That's the only way to
Where
get them.
okay, so that's an
That's the
interesting
only way
point
I
because a lot
know.
of people are under the impression that that most of the fish are stolen from the wild waters. I'm not talking about legally acquired,
No, sir. No, sir.
but that's
No. So let me explain something to you.
go
So
ahead.
so let me put this in reality. So if I own a pond, well, listen to me. If I own a pond, it is not going to go benefit me sit on a riverbank to catch 5 fish a day or 6 fish a day. You have to understand, we're not talking about 100 pounds at a time. We're talking about putting in 3,000 pounds to some people get 10,000 pounds. There's no way possible you're gonna go sit on a riverbank in 2 days or 3 days catch 10,000 pounds of fish. Common sense, if anybody believes that, they have no clue about carp fishing.
Okay. In the
Um,
meantime,
so so,
everybody, go ahead,
but
Joe.
what
Finish.
I'm saying is, it's not worth your time to go sit on a riverbank. And are they some people that do go to certain places and they go catch some buffalo or some yellows? And yes, they will take them, put them in a tank, and haul them some ponds. But them ponds, most of them ponds, don't have the means of going to fetch fish, and they don't have the means of hauling fish, and they don't have the money to buy the fish from the people that sell the fish.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying.
So, is this, in your opinion, how majority of the fish end up in the Pay Lakes?
Majority of the fish end up in the pay lakes through people that seine fish and gill net fish.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it
Everybody,
Majority.
goes.
I'm talking
in the
about.
meantime, let me introduce to the chat Jami. She just joined us on the video. She's here with us. Uh, she's one of the most prominent female anglers in United States. Um, one of our pro staffers. I think anybody who is not living under the rock probably have seen Jami on the bank or on social media or have at least heard of her. Jami, welcome to the show.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jami.
Good to have you. So I know you are about 5 minutes late to the party, but let's get you up to speed by asking you a couple of questions. Have you fished a pay lake in the past?
No, never.
Okay. Would you ever consider it to see for the bare minimum what it looks like from the inside perspective?
So funny about that, the last time I seen Justin, I was talking to Justin about it. Um, I think I would be interested to fish one just to see it. I think we all know my stance on it is I don't condone it just because I just don't. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff people don't condone. That's not really, I don't condone it. It's not for me. How about that?
All right, so let's dig right
Yeah.
into it. What is it that you don't like about pay laking that is not for you? Let's lay it all out.
I think just the aspect of it for me is I don't want to go fish a pond that's fully stocked. To me, that just takes out the fun of it. But on the other hand, I think it's great for like kids, seniors. That's a fabulous idea. But me personally, when I go fishing, I don't want to know what I'm going to catch. I don't know. And I know everyone has their own opinion. I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong. So don't come after me like that. I just,
No, no.
it's not for me, but would I try it? Yeah, I'd go give it a shot. I'm not saying it takes a lesser angler to fish those, because you're fishing fish that's already been caught. It's going to take some skill to catch that fish again, like a whole lot of skill.
Okay, so you're saying number one is the style of fishing, that you believe that you will be a little bit more challenged on the wild water than a smaller stocked lake. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't like that all the native fish are going into these ponds, or it's just, again, it's not for me.
Okay. Um, I don't know if this was right before you connected or while you were already live. We're talking to Joe about where the fish are coming from. And Joe says that majority of them are coming from uh, legal, basically, catches sponsored by the state. And otherwise, a lot of those fish would end up basically either as fertilizer or on the fish market, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah. And I mean, that's his. That's his. That's not everybody's. I mean, we
Okay,
know
so
that.
so so you think basically that this is not the case with all the pay lakes or majority of the pay lakes.
Of course not.
Okay, Joe, what do you say to that?
Which pay lakes are you talking about that get fish?
Joe, you're breaking up.
I say it's not
Yeah,
just carp fish too. It's the catfish.
Correct. Joe, can you repeat because you were breaking up?
I said, which lakes she know of that gets carp other than a seine net or gill net person?
I seen how many pay lakes, how many states are there? Like 6 states. 6 states, I think, right now that have pay lakes. Like I said, I'm not saying it's every pay lake, but they got to get those big fish in there somehow. And that's what's
Well,
going around right now, is
right.
about the trophy catfish lakes where people are putting, like, I'm not talking about just carp. You probably thought I was just talking about carp.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
in
I mean,
Kentucky. You talking about Kentucky? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you talking
The
about
thing that's
Kentucky where they just bust the people? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not Tennessee, not South Carolina, not Virginia. But I mean, it's happening everywhere. I think I wish there was regulations on the native fish. I think most people know that smallmouth buffalo is one of our oldest native fish, and they're just getting just. I don't understand it. I know we're about to get some more laws in place, and I think it's happening across the board in some of these pay lake states, where they are going to start monitoring like how many fish you can take when it comes to native fish. Native fish meaning the catfish and the smallmouth buffalo. No one cares about carp. That's just that.
So gambling, we know that gambling is a big part of pay laking, right? Everybody who's having it in their feed without even fishing a pay lake sees it. So now, is it more about fishing or is it more about gambling? Justin.
Got a lot of facts somewhere.
That's a hard one to say. I mean, it's both. I mean, most of it's camaraderie for me, but most of them that I'm fishing is because I'm fishing with my friends. Is going to be a porch pot or a championship or a qualifier, or you know what I mean, where spots pay, your big fish pay, and so, I mean, but even if you're just going to fish these lakes, so our lakes here are different than North Carolina lakes. And Joe could maybe touch base on this. I don't know every North Carolina lakes and their rules or whatnot. I have fished a few like Fluffs, Poppies too, Midway, where you can just go fish. But there's a lot of lakes in North Carolina. They run programs and that's what they do. Here we run 12-hour sessions, so you can fish a 12-hour, a 24, a 48, and it doesn't matter. You're either going to pay to be in the jugs, or you're just there to fun fish. Um,
So Dave Ash is asking an interesting question. Joe, maybe you can help answer this. If the jugs and
Yeah.
gambling was not part of the pay lake culture, would it be as popular?
Yeah. So let me tell you from the beginning.
for
So when
sure,
we first
100%.
started Pay Lakes 80 years ago, before Wild Water started, it used to cost you $12 a day to fish. So people would go out there for 8, 9 hours and they would fish. They put like a quarter, nickel, a dime in the jars, and they would fish for them jars. But most of the time they would just sit on the bank and they would I mean, just cook out, have a good time, fish. It wasn't about the money. They might play $1 a head every hour or something, just for jokes and giggles. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So over the time, money's got more involved. I will say that. It's just like wild water tournaments. Money's involved. Everything's money involved.
Exactly.
So, but now there is people. A lot of people go to some ponds that don't run tournaments. They pay a $20 fee and they just go fish for fun. And there'll be
Hmm.
25, 30 people there a day for
Exactly.
no money. But fish for no money.
So help me understand, like throughout the week, how
Right.
many how much of that time block is reserved for the gambling fishing and how much of it is reserved just for regular fishing? Do you take the whole lake, for example, for some gambling tournament, or only whoever wants to enter? How does it work?
Well,
Well, so I got a big pond and I got a small pond. So my small pond is fun fishing. It's open only time when my top pond's open. So we only run, let's see, probably 8 times, 40 hours a week. So the rest of the time it's shut down. It is.
Jami,
But it's go to fish the other pond down the bottom, like I said, it's $20 and up top. It's fun fishing. And you'd be surprised how many people just go down and fun fish for no just fun fish, have fun.
okay. So Jami,
But back again,
mm-hmm.
she said there's all these states that have, and this is the problem with people that wild water fish. I love wild water fishing. I love it more than anything in the world.
What's the
Is
problem?
people don't understand. Everybody thinks there's all these states with these pay lakes, which there's not. You got a pay lakes. You got one pay lake in Georgia, which is two. North Carolina's got more pay lakes than anywhere in the United States.
Reds.
That in Georgia, that's Georgia Reds.
Yep.
Then you got North Carolina. Then you got South Carolina, and you got Indiana and Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
There's only 5 states in the United States has pay lakes. Carp. 5 states. Other than that, there's no other pay lakes in the United States. There's 5 states.
So how
There's a
many
reason
pay
for that.
lakes?
Actually,
Okay, go ahead.
there's only that there's, but actually these tournaments, these wild water tournaments, was started by the pay lakers. They was not started by. It was started in Baldwinsville by us 30 years. Well, 20 when I want to say 20 years ago maybe, and it was total weight of fish. It wasn't the way it is now. They used actually 2 hooks back then. Wild water fish with. There's a lot that people don't see. They hear stories from people, but they don't really know the truth of what they hear.
Okay.
Uh, I agree with
And
that.
and I'm not saying everything's perfect. There's nothing perfect in this world.
Okay, Joe. Let's allow
Nothing.
Jamie to jump in. Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay,
Okay.
I think so. Let's say a bunch of us we see pay lake fish online, right? What's the first thing you think we see with that pay lake fish? That pay lake fish, like smallmouth buffaloes. You see them; they're just put in
Yep.
like the barrels or on the board, and they look just beat to hell. They're missing scales. They're red. They're malnourished. That's what we're seeing. So people who don't pay
Yes.
lake in all these other states, mind you, because pay laking is only illegal in some states for a reason, because of regulations. So we're seeing this. The only thing that's in our face, um, just
Oh,
that's
I
what gets
understand
me.
what you're
Is
saying.
I'll see this big fish on this damn board, or not being properly handled, properly taken care of, and then we're putting it up there, and people are happy that they just caught this fish and smiling so big, and the fish is just it looks disgusting. that's where
Yes,
I
ma'am.
that's where I get mad, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Because us as
So,
carp fishermen,
yes, ma'am.
I'm not done. Us as carp
Yes, ma'am.
fishermen, like we take care of this fish, right? We are trying to show the world how we take care of these fish and how much we love these fish. But when we see these and it's just It's disgusting, and that I think that's where a lot of us draw the line. Just seeing how bad these fish look.
Yes, ma'am. I understand 100% what you're saying, and
And
I
I'm not
agree
saying
with you.
that is
They
your
do.
lake whatsoever. I'm not saying
I
that
agree.
at all.
I agree. I agree 100%. But I understand what you're saying. But there's a choice there. I understand 100%. If we take them, are they going to die?
Yes.
So you prefer them to die?
Why would they die? Oh, because you're saying the fertilizer and
They
whatnot.
sell them to the so the
So
state
you think
pays these
their
people.
suffering is a
Yes.
better existence than just being killed?
Well, they're not
So
suffering. I promise you,
can
they get salt. They actually get. The number one thing for carp is salt. Salt actually puts slime on a carp. A lot of people
So
don't know that. Salt is the number one thing for carp. They love salt.
so let's
It
get
heals them.
Joe.
can
So
Yeah.
let me jump in.
Okay.
Let me jump in and address the carp care.
yeah.
I know that this is probably the biggest sticking point within the wild water public looking at paylaking, right? And all those questions and comments are probably leading to this. I think that, let me state the obvious first. Many of us, me included, on this journey of carp fishing have at one point or another mishandled the fish. I'm not saying no. I have seen myself anglers who we admire on social media uh, any given Sunday accidentally lose a fish. When I mean lose, I mean that the fish dies because of mishandling. So I know it happens, but we're not talking about we're talking about where the intentions are and where the general care is. We all know that when we're catching the fish, things can go wrong, whether it's during the release, during the fight, you name it. The bare fact that we are catching those fish with a hook and a line poses some risk to the fish, period. But we're talking about the general idea of the wild water public, and I think I speak for them, is that they seeing fish cared for less than normally what they are thought on the wild water side. Not every pay lake, I'm assuming, is the same. Not every pay laker is the same,
Of course.
but how much truth there is to sometimes what's seen on social media. Is it few bad apples creating a bad image for all the pay lakes, or is it generally that's how it is, and maybe you are an exception to it? What is it, Joe?
Well, they have to be careful. I'm in business, so um, I can only speak for myself. I take care of my fish, and I know other ponds that do take care of their fish. I mean, we put salt in them, we lime them, and she was talking about the red on the buffalo. So most time, the reason the buffalo is red is because he's stressed, and that's from hauling the buffalo. It's because he's stressed. That's why buffalo turn red. It's because they're stressed. And the number one thing to get rid of the stress on the buffalo is salt. Yellow, they actually get pig belly from hauling them, but you got to use salt to heal them, and it goes away. Um, we all try to put mats down. We try to, you know, every pond I go to, most of them's got mats. You just don't lay the fish on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? So it ain't like they lay on the ground and flop around. Um, some of us got cradles. Try to keep everybody tries to protect that fish best they can. I mean, we really strict on a lot of our ponds. If we catch you kicking a fish, putting your foot on a fish, mistreating a fish, we will tell you pack your stuff and leave. We don't allow that. At my pond especially. If I catch you putting a fish, your feet on my fish, your knee on my fish, or if you don't use a toter or net to put it back, or you try to slide it off the bank by putting it in the water, you will be asked to leave my pond.
Probably need to turn my light
And
on.
there are a lot of other ponds like that.
Okay, so Joe, how is that an exception to the rule that you're normally seeing, or are you saying that most of the pay lakes go to that extent that you do?
A lot of paylakes go to sin. I do. Carp is too expensive, and see that's what somebody don't understand. We get this going to what blow her mind. I want to ask her, what do you think we pay a pound for a carp? Please tell me, ma'am. What do you think we pay a pound?
3 cents.
How much? What you
3
say?
cents a pound. I said 3 cents a pound.
$2.75 a pound.
And
You take a 20-pound carp. How much is that?
what are you getting at with this though? That you buy the fish
We buy the fish, yes, ma'am. We all buy
from
the fish. We don't get the
somebody
fish
to
free,
fertilize. Why doesn't
huh?
anyone like they do over like across the pond start breeding their own fish?
Because the problem
Because
is
it
a
costs
carp
more.
eats 10. The problem is a carp can eat 10% of his weight a day. Them carp ponds over are different than they are here. So them carp ponds all of them might get like what, 15, 20 people a day,
15
if
fish,
even that.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for a week they might only get 15, 20 people. We talking about people. We talking about hundreds of people a week. We talking about 30 to 40 people a day. But if
Second.
we buy a 20-pound carp, just say $2, that's $40 we pay for a fish. So of course we want to respect that fish. That's $40 out of our pocket if he dies. But most fish cost you $2.75, $2.50 a pound.
Okay, so I get it that there's a monetary value
Yeah.
assigned to basically every fish that you have. Now,
Yes.
let me ask you this: where does carp care fall within the priorities, though? Because I understand that it can cost about, let's say, $60 for a 20 plus pound carp. Okay,
Yes.
$60.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But because we don't know normally what a pay lake turns over on average per carp and therefore per pound basically of revenue, because
Right.
as a business owner, I would imagine I would do the math, how much I'm
Right.
stocking my lake, how much I'm
Yep.
churning over the profit, whether it's because of gambling or because of just people wanting to fish, period, without gambling.
Right.
And then there is going to be a result that is going to come out how much a pound of fish is making us. And so this is because I don't have those numbers. I don't know where the priorities of carp care lay. Does it make carp basically that $60 carp relatively cheap to the pay lake? Or is it rather an expensive investment compared to
Expensive.
the revenue that that fish will bring?
Very, very expensive. Very expensive.
Joe, is it expensive because
Yes.
and
Yes. Very, 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 very expensive. If you go pick a 20-pound carp up, your heart's crying because you don't want to lose that money.
I thought he was going
right?
to say
So
that.
here is the good question that Sam is asking. How often are you replacing the fish?
Well, you keep track. So you keep track of how many fish you lose a year. So I mark some of them's going to die because of the heat. Some of them's going to die, just like you said, get mistreated, or they might get dropped, or accidents going to happen. So you mark on the board, and we got a tablet. We keep it in how many fish. If we lose, say 50 fish a year or 60 fish a year, well, you try to buy a load of fish to replace them fish.
What's the stock level, Joe? For example, at your pond, what's the size of it, and what's the stock level?
So my pond is almost 5 acres. There's 11 million gallons of water in it, and there's 325,000 fresh gallons of water go through it a day.
5 acres, you mentioned.
Yes,
How many fish?
man. There was fish in there when I bought it, so I can't give you an estimate, but I mean, I don't know. We normal on a day, if in the summer, spring when they biting really good, they'd probably be 150 to 200, sometimes 300 fish caught a day.
150 to 200 on 5 acres.
Yeah.
I'm asking because I have fished a lake with 75 acres that had about 1,000 fish stuck in it. I'm talking about
Right.
in France.
Right.
So, and that was considered a decent stock. Or by the way, all I had for the whole week was one carp bite.
Yeah.
So it was far from
Yeah.
easy and smooth fishing. Okay, so that's the stock level. Jami, what's your thoughts right now?
I don't know. It's interesting hearing like his side of it. Obviously, we knew he'd be on the defense,
No,
and
I ain't on defense, honey.
not
I'm
just
not
you're
on
telling us.
defense.
He's telling us the aspects of it, which we needed someone to come on and tell us that. I meant it like that, as in a legal term.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well,
it's nice to hear like his take on it because a lot of us don't know. Like all we get is what we see, and that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
well, so let's touch base on the carp care aspect because that's obviously going to be the biggest one for everybody
Yep.
watching, right? We
Yep.
see those caddies. Joe, are you using those at your pay lake? Those plastic caddies?
You talking about the tube things you carry the fish in?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, but now, so everybody thinks it's just a tube with nothing at the bottom of it, right?
Well,
Is that what I mean?
it's a
Would
plastic it's a plastic
do you think
tube.
there's something inside? Right? Do you think something's inside of that tube?
I thought there was a mat in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. There's a piece of styrofoam in it about 4 inches thick
On the bottom.
on the bottom. Yes, sir.
Okay, so no, I did not know that. I thought that it was straight plastic.
No, no, sir.
Is that foam popular? Because I thought I saw some of them. Maybe I'm not paying attention. I was watching some other pay lakes videos, people carrying them, and maybe I just couldn't see it. But is this something very common, or is it just some people do it, some people don't put the foam on the bottom?
It's the rule of
It's the rule
all
of the
lakes
lake.
have that rule.
Yeah, it's the rule of the lake. You got to have
It's
them.
a rule. You got to have it.
Okay. So that's that. If you could, how did that evolve for you, Joe, on your pay lakes, the carp care? And look, I'll be the first one to say, okay? Because if I'm going to be not necessarily casting stones, but asking questions that are looking
Mm-hmm.
like casting stones, okay, I'll be the first one to say what I said to many people.
Mm-hmm.
Go back 20 years, and you're going to find me with horrible carp care.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find me coming from Central Eastern Europe, where we basically eat what we catch. So I'm coming from that background. So it's not like my doo-doo didn't stink at the beginning. When it comes to carp care, we would catch, we would eat. When I moved over here 25 years ago, or 27 years ago, I would go fishing. We would rope the fish by the gills. Because we would plan to take them and eat them later. And it took a little bit of unforced education by some others to basically learn to care for the fish, to find some cool aspect in it. Look at it more as a sport rather than just meat eating, right?
Yep.
And I'm saying this because we all come from somewhere. Hardly any of us were born in UK to a proper carp care. Okay, so I'll be the first one to admit it. That's why I'm opening the door that, look, if I could be taught, often self-taught, and converted, as I would say, to proper carp care, anybody can do it. But like I said, it's not like my doo-doo never stank. So how was your journey with the pay lake? Was it evolving also from early on? Is it still evolving? I know that there's also what I don't have personally fishing that you do is a business attached to it. So I know that there are expenses also associated with this. But does your carp care evolve? And where was it before? Where is it now? Where did you learn over the years?
So I started carp fishing when I was 8 years old. I'm 49 now in Pay Lakes. So back then, you know, most people size of the fish was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pounds. If you caught an 18 pounder, you was the king. But then they the carp carrier was awful. It was bad. It was really bad. You really want to know the truth. Um, it was bad. But over the years, now that everybody, when you go buy carp, it's your investment. It's your money. So if you lose that fish, you lose money. So now it's kind of got a lot better than what it used to be. People treat the fish a lot better than they used to treat them. Yes, they're gonna have to tear up mouths. I mean, you have to look. They get caught a lot. They're going. I mean, of course, their mouth's gonna get tore. Or you're gonna see some rub marks on their scale on their gill plate. A lot of people don't realize what that rub mark on their gill plate is actually gill mites, and they actually get gill mites in the natural, and they die from it. So in the pond, we treat the gill mites, and we actually heal
You're
them
right.
fish so they'll stay alive longer. And a lot of people don't even realize that. Um, but carp carrying over the years has come a long, long ways with salt, lime, dipping the fish in salt before you weigh it. If it's got a sore on it, we take the sore and we take salt and fill that sore up, fill of salt, and it'll heal that fish. It's just like if you get a scar on your hand, you go get in salt water like an ocean, it'll heal.
No, salt is definitely definitely helping with treating the wounds and
Oh yeah,
healing
and
some of
you
them.
would
That's for
not
sure.
believe. So we go buy a pallet of salt. You talking $250? $250 a pallet of salt, and we probably put me, myself, and I put 10 blocks a week of salt in my pond every week. And my fish are so trained, I put it in the same spot. Them fish will come to that salt block every Tuesday morning to get on that salt.
Justin, where
Yeah,
do you see the pay lakes improving on the carp care? Let's say for as long as you remember, how is that going on from your perspective? Where you see the pay lakes and when you still fish them?
it definitely has changed. I mean, from Wagon Wheel Pay Lake, just right off the top, I'll say it. As far as the lake and how it was built, um, I don't know how it ever even saved fish. It 100% concrete, a concrete bottom, concrete. I mean, you set on concrete, like it wasn't. You didn't have sand or grass, or it was all concrete. Um, People drug the fish up on the bank. If they couldn't get to their net, they'd just like Joe said, they'd step on them, reach down, unhook them, kick them back into the water, and rebait and throw back out. They didn't care back then. Now we use cradles. Now we have mats. We have, what I mean, like a lot of our pay lakes now have, they use them. You can't use knotted nets anymore. You have to use, a knotless net. They prefer rubber.
Well, so
So
Joe, good question from Sam Williams. Would you be prepared, guys, to use waist links instead of a tube and a hanging scale? And if not,
I
why
would
not?
I would prefer a sling. I will admit to that 100%. But the problem is, if you could get a sling for $30, $35, $40, you could sell them. But the problem is you got scooters, and this is what you got to look at. So if you use a sling, you got to walk from Black Acres 5 acres, right? So if you're
mhm.
at the very far end with a sling, you got to walk from there to my weight station in 100-degree weather. And a carp cannot be out of water, supposed to not be out of water in 100-degree weather no more than 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, so I get it because I see the scooters being used quite a bit in pay
Yes.
lakes, and so
And that's get the fish
okay,
there fast.
fair
Yeah.
point because the fish also
Yeah.
could get banged up on that scooter on the way
Yeah.
to the weighing unless they would have I suppose tripods or weigh stations, but no, because if you do gambling, then I'm assuming you have to bring the fish to the central station, as I would call it. Am I right?
Yes, and you got scale like mine. When I weigh a fish, everybody sees what the fish weighs.
Yep.
I
So
Okay.
could see
there's
that.
no, I mean, nothing could be said about none. But yeah, I mean, I even got golf carts for that people that don't have scooters. I got golf carts so they can bring the fish to my scale faster instead of walking them.
Okay.
I'm all
Okay.
about fish care.
Okay. So okay, that does make sense in that aspect. Um, Justin,
Yeah.
why do you think the paylakes get a bad rap overall? I'm assuming that's coming from the, again, I'm going to refer to them as wild water people.
Okay. I mean, I would say they get a bad rep. I mean, just because they wonder where the fish come from. And then, as Jamie said, I mean, the pictures that they see, you know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, I'm guilty myself. I fish both. I have fished my whole life. I fished both. Like Joe said, he said, you know, from 9 to 49 or 8 to 49, I believe. I was from 7, I'm 44. So, you know what I mean? Almost, I'm on the same track as Joe is, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that length. And involved a long way. I can't say that at the same time. That 3 or 4 people that are fishing that don't know anything about ag or the water event or the carp care or what. I can't say that they're definitely telling me the same
Justin,
thing
we're
I'm
losing
seeing
your
in
audio a
most.
little bit.
Their carp care, you know.
Justin, we're losing your audio a little bit. The connection is a little bit getting chopped up.
So I
Um,
will say, like,
Hold on.
even if you're weighing a fish or taking a picture of it, at the pay lakes, they're usually just over boards. Like, I wish I could see a mat or, something softer just to have that fish on to take the picture. I know, like, a lot of times it's just like just a board, but
so I
Most of
will
our
add
players,
this.
most of our lakes have it.
yeah,
Yeah, they
And
have
the
a
reason
designated place.
we
Like,
use that is because we don't want our fish hold up in the air. Because if you take a chance, like what I love's doing in wild water, we'll take the
yeah,
fish and pick it up, right, and hold it in our hands. And the reason we set it down on the border, leaning up against something, because we don't want them to do that. Because what happens is, you drop that fish, he hits concrete, he hits the ground, he's going to his inside's going to bust. He's going when you put him back in the water, he's going to swim sideways, and he'll die.
you know,
That's
Good,
why we do that.
Joe. Good question brought from the public. If it's a
Yep.
competition, would it be financially prohibitive to have a marshal go around, let's say on a scooter, to weigh the fish?
No, because then there you go. You got to pay somebody to do that.
So it's cost prohibitive. You're saying?
Yes, it costs too much.
Okay, got it. And by the way, everybody listening, I want you to understand that this is probably the first time that I am seeing an honest civil debate about pay lakes, what they are, what they do, how they operate, and whatever your thoughts might be about pay lakes in general. I hope you appreciate the fact that Joe, Justin, and Jamie are joining in to have an honest conversation about it, because before, and I said that at the beginning, before any of us can have solid opinions about it, I think we need to know as many facts as possible before we can make up our opinions. Now,
yeah,
I will come back to the fish gear, because at least from the people that I speak with, that's always the sticking point,
Yes, I
right?
agree
yeah,
with you.
I, I, I
100%.
I
basically.
think it's probably, I hear it even more than where the fish is coming from. I think people have heard stories about where the fish often end up. So I can subscribe to some of that idea, sure. But I think fish gear is going to be a number one. What I would say for myself is that if you have proper fish gear at the lake, Joe,
Hmm.
front and center, because the only way you can change perspective and general opinion is by showing it. Otherwise, information or misinformation can be often spreading much more quicker. If you're using cradles, snap some pictures with the cradles. Whatever good
Right.
pieces of carp care or fish care in general is happening at a pay lake, I would suggest blast it online. It's going to elevate your image, probably within the paylakers themselves, because I have a feeling that you're probably doing a little bit more than others are doing sometimes.
Yeah, I
And I'm
think
saying
Yeah.
this
Nicole
because
agrees with
Jamie
that.
knows sometimes we saw pictures, for example, of fish in a horrible state, not from your lake, but from some
All right.
others, where they got
Oh
shared
yeah.
online. And that must frankly be pissing you off too, because it's hurting at the end also your image as a pay lake owner. Like, because there will be a portion of people who will associate you with that, even if you don't own that pay lake.
All right. Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, the problem is these things have been around for 80, 90 years, and it ain't just a pond owner. I mean, you got people that's been. I mean, it's been tradition after tradition after for years and years, and you're trying to get people to change. And it's just I've tried to do certain things. I bought cradles for the ponds, my pond. I bought cradle for every weight person to use in my pond. You know that. I bought them from you,
So
and
I
you know what happened to
purposely,
them?
what happened?
The hooks get in them, and then they rip and they tear, and then you know what happened? Right in the trash can.
So I didn't say this purposely because I cannot spill those beans what Joe is buying or not buying from Carp Angler. But yes, at one point, Joe came in and spent a shitload of money basically on 40 Nash cradles that were delivered to his pay lake. So I know that he's making a significant investment into the carp care, because when I see an order that is thousands and thousands of dollars at once, and that's not the only order that he placed, um, I know that there has to be an added value to that fish. So that's when I started questioning, maybe that fish is not easily replaced like this.
Mm-mm.
Because the investment that he was at least making at the time doesn't match the idea that the fish would be that easily replaceable. So it was definitely one of those a little bit eye-opening moments. Again, just if Joe wouldn't mention this, I wouldn't, because I just can't spill the beans what the order
No, no,
history of
you're
a
fine. Yeah,
customer
yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah. And that's the thing. We try our best to take care of these fish you can. I mean, they're gonna get hooked. Multiple times. I mean, their mouth's gonna get tore up. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, you try to do what you can. Like I said, they get a sore. You put salt on them. You give them salt every week. You give them lime. You keep the pH level. I mean, you try to back drain, get the pneumonia. People don't even realize. People think, okay, you get a carp pond, you just throw fish in it. No, no, that
A
that
lot of
that
work.
nowhere.
A lot of
These
work.
look, a carp pond is a 7-day job from morning to dark every day. You got to check pH levels. You got to check alkalinity levels. You got to make sure the oxygen is good. You got to make sure you back drain, get pneumonia out of it. It ain't just you just throw fish in there and say, hey, no, it don't work that. You could do that, but you know what's going to happen? It's going to flip on you. The pond's going to flip, and you're going to lose every fish in that pond, and you're going to have to spend thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to restock it.
So let's talk about catching those fish. Question on the screen: what kind of baits and rigs get used at pay lakes? Justin, what do you use? Is it any different than wild water?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, yeah,
I
give
use
us your
I, I
secrets.
use just I use a single hook, no hair. Just a hook and a inline lead, and usually use a piece of cereal or something, some kind of pickup on the hook, and then either make a chow or an oat ball. I mean, that your other than the chow ball, your baits are still the same. You use grits or oats or soy or but the aspect of it's still the same. I mean, if you're using kicks or pops on a hook, it's going to pop your hook up just like a pop up or a pop up corn does. Um, the idea of the breakdown, these are all breakdown baits that I just named, the same exact as they would be in the wild water. So it's breaking down, you're popping up, you're getting their attention, they're coming through. Oh, look, now they got your bait, and now you're hooked. In North Carolina, they use 2 hooks. In Indiana, we're only allowed to use 1 hook. Um, they allow us at one lake only during the winter time, or I don't even know if they allow it anymore. They used to at Highway during just the winter time when they were closed. You paid $20, you get a fun fish through the winter. You could use 2 hooks. I'm not even sure they do that anymore. It might have already been, passed and done from there. But um, as far as the fishing goes and whatnot, I mean, the style or, yeah, we use, in a pay lake, you might have a 7 or 8 foot rod. It's sitting on a stand that, it'll lift up. Once it lifts up, the fish is kind of hooked and it could pull the drag or, whatever, what have you. In the wild water either a bait runner or a quick drag. The fish is going to run with it for a while. If it's a bolt rig, then it's going to fill that instantly. It's now
So
dragging
let's
around
let's
six
take
to
a
four
step
ounce
back.
drag.
Explain to others what's a puff or a kick.
So kick cereal, just like go to the store, your kick cereal that you normally would go buy. So if you add flavor to that just a little bit, not too much, you don't want to make them soggy, and put them in a baggie, shake them, let them sit for a minute. You can literally put them on a hook and throw them out there, and they'll sit forever until a fish takes it or until you rebait to bring them
This
back
will not
in.
fall off.
They do not fall off. No, no. But you can use puff cereal, kick cereal, Reese's Puffs. I mean, there's so many different. I've seen people use Cheerios. They throw
So
6 or 7 Cheerios just around the hook, just
so
throw them on there.
hold on, because we were. Can, can you guys tell us how the hookup ratio works? Because we obviously fish a hair in a wild water because it frees up the
Um,
entire shank of the hook, right? When the
yeah,
carp picks it up. So when it spits out, the weight of the hook travels down the bottom lip
exactly.
until it pierces it, right? I understand Ronnie rigs work differently in pop-ups, but traditional hair rig is successful as it is because it frees up the hook. Now, that being said,
Exactly.
of course, I caught ton of fish in the past by putting sweet corn directly on a hook,
Same thing. Exact
right?
same thing. Yeah. Yep.
So is hair rig basically just overblown in efficacy, or do you see a difference in hookups when you put something directly on a shank versus a hair
Um,
rig? Is one better than the other?
I mean, the honesty of it. I mean, from my aspect of it, um, my hookup ratio with a just standard with a hook with something on the hook, I catch a lot quicker and I catch a lot more.
Really?
Um, most of my wild water fishing, I use my pay lake setup. I bought them Century rods from carpangler.com. I've used them 4 times. They're my tournament rods. Anywhere I go in Indiana, I'm using my 8 foot pay lake rods with casters sitting on a stand. My hookup ratio is way more. That's why I'm gonna be honest, as Joe just said earlier, with the wild water game and the tournaments, pay lakers ran the tournaments back in the day. I mean, they still give it, they give them hell.
Joe,
They're still on the podiums. They still using that. Fear the Puff was one of the teams in Baldwinsville,
yeah,
100%.
that I know. Joe, hookup ratio using hair rigs versus puffs on a hair. Do you agree with Justin?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
And a
Okay.
puff, and actually, so they try to do away with us in Baldwinsville,
They sure
done
did.
away with the hook, had to go to hair rigs, right? Oh, they won't be able to use a puff no more, and they won't be able to use a kicks, or they won't be able to use a sugar pop no more. Well, they was wrong.
Put it on
We
the hair.
invented that. We would just put on the hair. Cannot,
That's right.
you cannot stop us from doing what we done to make you try to change our game. We invented. You have to understand, Pay Lakers invented carp fishing in the United States.
So correct me if I'm wrong, though. I don't know if it's a recent change, but if I recall correctly, I think the puffs were not allowed at the tournaments that we were
They weren't
sponsoring
allowed. They
before.
weren't allowed on your hook, but you could put them on a hair.
Correct, not on
Yes,
the hook.
Yeah.
So
yes,
that's
Okay, what was the explanation for it? I wasn't part of those
because
discussions, but tell me.
I'm
45
not
because they got
6.
they because they tired of Pay Lakers whooping the bully's ass, man.
Well, I'm tired of getting my ass whooped by the Pay Lakers too during the tournaments. So
Because that's the whole
absolutely.
reason. They did not like us using. They thought they could stop us from using a puff. and they thought it could stop us using the kicks. But there's, I mean, I can tell you different. I can tell you how to make a puff and stay on your hook for 10 hours
Yep.
and never come off.
Okay.
You can make a puff stay. You can make a puff stay on a
And you have to
rig and catch a
understand.
couple of fish with it, and it's still gonna be there.
So, how can I say this being a nice way? Because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings in this. But I know who's watching this. So
Everybody.
I know. So I got to be what I say here about bait and this and that. So okay, you can go buy a bag. I'll say this: you can go buy a bag of puffs, okay, for $4,
Okay.
okay, and there's hundreds of puffs in there. Or you could go buy a bag of bullies or a pound of bullies for $8.
Might be 40 in there.
Or you can go buy a bag of oaks for $30 and a bag of puffs. You got $35. 50-pound bag of oaks, you got $55. Well, $35. I'm sorry, and you go fish all day. Or you go
Okay.
buy 100 pounds of bullies. It's going to cost you $8. Cost you $800. Or you pay $35.
Agree.
Yeah. No, it's definitely cheaper to go that
Oh
route.
yeah, a lot cheaper. But that's the hair rig. I mean, I've caught more fish on a hook than I have a hair rig.
I have
That
too.
was fun.
That's Jamie, how about you?
What? With what?
Uh,
Hold on.
putting baits directly on a hook versus on a hair. Like the only thing I can compare to or relate to is
Listen,
me putting sweet corn on the hook, directly on the
yeah,
hook.
I'll say this. I know Joe keeps saying something about carp fishing, pay lakes. That's 5 states. There's 45 other states. I learned to carp fish from my grandmother back in the day, which was, well, not going to say how old I am. But so Oklahoma, we fish for carp all the time. It's called trash fishing. So it's been around forever. No pay lakes around me either. Because what, back then, I think way back when there was only a couple pay lake states that allowed it. So that's just not factual right there. Um, so I fish a local river. Right, I live next to a river. I fish with just corn on a hook. I put corn on a hook, split shot, done.
100%.
So did
You,
your
Well,
I
grandma,
mean,
when she made the bait, did she use cornmeal and vanilla and make a little ball? Jamie, did your grandma show you how to make cornmeal balls?
she would use Wheaties
Yeah.
There,
We
there you. Shh! Don't be telling nobody that. Keep that a secret.
and
yeah.
like strawberry pop or grape pop. Like I grew up
Yep.
knowing, like, so I mean it's Oklahoma, but again, like I
Yeah.
said, there's nothing around us, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just
Yep.
gonna.
Old
so
vanilla
well,
balls.
Oh yeah.
I'll speak for myself when I say that yes, paylakers definitely know how to fish wild water tournaments because I've been a victim of theirs a couple of
I mean
times.
they can fish harder in some aspects because they got to get that fish to bite.
Well,
Well,
I
in a while. So let me give you a little. So you want to compare a wild to a pond biting wise. So yes, you catch a lot of fish in a pond, but this is the issue is catching bigger fish. There is a technique, and there's a technique in the wild, and there's a technique in a pond, and it makes difference what kind of fish you want to catch. You want to catch big fish, you want to catch small fish.
so
And
generalize it for us the difference between the technique of pay lake fishing versus wild water.
so if you go in a pay lake and you sit there and you throw, I don't know, you got one little hole, you throwing a lot of bait in. Say you throw uh, 8 pounds of oaks in it, right? You're gonna get all these little fellas in there just nobbling, just eating, feeding. Well, you don't want to catch little fish. You want to catch bigger fish. So you got to find them bigger fish, keep the little fish over here, and find the bigger fish over here. You understand what I'm saying now?
I hear you.
It's in certain flavors, certain baits catch bigger fish than small fish.
I think that's just like wild water fishing though.
There you go. It's all it there. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty well like wild water fishing. I mean, and that's what people don't understand. I mean, there is technique in pond fishing. Ain't you just make a ball of bait and put a puff on there and throw it out there and say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna catch it." It don't work. Look, I was in a tournament yesterday. I was in a fishing tournament yesterday. There was 32 of us fished in a tournament, and it was brutal. And it wasn't just you throw out there and hope you catch a fish. You had to do a little work here. You know, I'm not going to give everything, but we finished third. We was 3/10 out of second. I mean, I didn't catch no fish for the first 4 hours, but there was technique involved. It wasn't just throw out there and hope and pray. I mean, there was a little. You had to do a little something.
Oh yeah,
I
100%.
mean, it's just like wild water. I mean, it's. I mean, you just got to do it once to understand it. I mean, there's just a lot of bad things get said about wild water. I mean, ponds, and I understand the pictures and carp care, but you know, I just hate to see anything die. I mean, I don't. Well, I don't mean the word die. I mean, I hate seeing anything pass away, but you know,
Oh,
if you catch them
sorry,
and they
bro.
go straight to the market and they just die and they
Sorry.
have no, and they don't have no, they can't enjoy their life. At least it's just like a human being. If you take a human being and he's got 4 years left, well, you wouldn't want that human being to live 4 years instead of just passing away tomorrow.
Joe,
It's
do
it.
you
I
what's
don't.
the what's the biggest fish right now in your two lakes that you have?
Probably 40 some pounds.
Carp?
Yes.
Okay. What's the what's the oldest fish that you've had of it? Do you have any that you have since you took over?
Oh yeah, I got some. I put a 58 pounder in there. Man, I say I don't know, 6 ago. He's still living. He don't. There's fish in there that's never going to get caught. And there's fish in there that get caught. I mean, there's old fish in there. I mean, there's fish in there that are humpbacks that just look, bless their heart, they're pitiful. And I take them out and I put them in a fun pond. I do. I mean, it's just nature, you know.
I hear you. Jamie is not here yet. Justin,
Here,
Yes.
I just making.
all right, perfect. Jamie, question for you. If you could pass one rule, if you had the power to do this, nationwide for pay lakes tomorrow, what would it be and who would hate you for it?
Um, Regulations. I think we need to be regulated, just like bow fishing. To me, it just needs to be regulated. Period. I don't want to see anyone like trophy fish tank, like just kind of someone go catch a fish, and I know it happens. Man, I know it happens. I know a lot of people. You catch a big fish, be like, hey, do you want this for your pond? It gets transferred, just like the catfish. You know, I'm a big catfisherman. Like I did tournaments. That was my thing, and then I decided carp only. Um, I want regulations in place, just like bow fishing. I think you know there should be a minimum, maximum. You can't keep taking. And what gets me, it's not. I love smallmouth buffalo. They're my favorite fish. Taking a native fish, the commercial fishing for those is just outlandish. So that's it.
And you
Okay.
said you said bow fishing regulated. How's bow fishing regulated?
The taking of the fish,
What
it
you mean
needs to be
taking?
regulated. So when you go fish for those, you kill them with a bow and arrow.
Yes.
So that needs to be regulated, right? We can't keep
Oh,
killing all these fish. Yeah,
they
regulated
they
like
kill
that.
millions, and that's what's and honestly, St. Lawrence River. We all know what St. Lawrence River is, right, in New York, right?
Yeah.
I can remember years ago we used to go to St. Lawrence River, run tournaments, and catch a ton of carp, big carp, just bunches of them. Bow hunting is destroyed St. Lawrence. Bow hunting is destroyed Baldwinsville. I can
Yes,
remember
it has.
Baldwinsville. You could catch. You think catch a fish now in Baldwinsville something? No. Bow fishing in Baldwinsville's killed. Bow fishing's killed Baldwinsville. It's killed St.
I
Lawrence.
think
It's
we need
killed.
stricter regulations on all fisheries.
Yeah, but bow fishing is the number one thing needs to be done. Them thousands and thousands. I'm talking about dump truckloads.
Yeah,
Thousands.
I think it's
Thousands.
happening now. Like the pay lakes are becoming, I think, more popular because we have an eye on us now as all carp fishermen. Like it's starting to get bigger. People are starting to notice, hey, this is really fun. I want to do this now. I think, and we as a community, all of us need to come together. And the hate for pay lakes and wild water, like that needs to stop. I've seen some comments in here with pay lakers coming, and it's just there's no need, I think, for we don't need to hate each other. We're all fishing for the same thing. I think we need to get to a point where it's just regulated. Like
So
we all want to protect
But
it.
I
can I
don't
say
think this can get
something?
regulated since
It's
carp.
not going to get regulated.
Right. So carp fishing, with the exception of not even all the waters in Connecticut, which has um, some laws passed to protect at least the trophy-sized fish, and that's
Yeah.
not all the waters in Connecticut. With the exception of that, I'm not aware of any other state that has passed any legislation to make it happen. So I'm not holding my breath for the
It's not
foreseeable
going to.
future that is
The,
going to
now,
happen.
I thought
now
so.
The Seneca River, you can't remove you can't remove fish from there, but you can bow fish it. So you know,
Yeah.
Also, you mean transporting? You're referring to transporting?
you can
Yes.
So
yes you
isn't that in
cannot.
most states, if not all states, that you cannot transport the fish from one water to
No, they
another?
don't. A carp, you can it because of the way we look at it in our country. You can transport a carp. You can literally, like in our state, you can go to a big reservoir, catch a nice carp, and be like, oh, I got a pond in my neighborhood. I'd like to have this in there, so I can just go to my neighborhood and catch it. You can take that fish and put it. There's no regulation against that at all.
Interesting.
Now the Seneca River, because back in the day, I'm not going to name any names, whatnot. There was a gentleman who let a piece of property be used. We used it for the tournament, and then he would let a couple people come there and fill up a couple tanks after the tournament with all the extra bait that was thrown in the water. They'd just go and slam fish, fill up the tanks. They'd drive back to their lakes. They'd put them in their lakes. Um,
Well,
it got stopped.
the headwinds are
And you
definitely
know
there
what?
because even I think it was last year we were just I was looking at it with our pro staff at a official publication. I just forget which state right now, talking about invasive carp, mentioning the Asian one.
Yeah, we
And
have
those
tons in Indians.
yes, but those idiots used the picture of a common carp in that in
Here's the
that
idiot.
publication.
Well, here's the idiot thing of all. An Asian carp is not a carp. Really, in all reality, a buffalo carp's not a carp, and neither is
Correct.
grass
Buffalo is
carp.
not a carp.
But
Correct.
Uh,
we are very ignorant in our country and very lazy, so we classify certain things in as a bigger classification. And that's the uneducatedness of it, and that's the hardest part to get past. And until that part is passed, I don't think anybody's really going to see eye to eye, because they're always going to think that the Asian carp is a carp, or the grass carp is a carp.
Justin, I
Um,
don't think we're going to see eye to eye on those things until there's a little bit more eye to eye seeing between the growing population of carp fishing on both the Pale Lake side and the wild water. We can hardly see eye to eye. So I'm not expecting
well, yeah,
nothing until this
but
bridge
outside of
is
so here's the messed up thing is, outside of what we know as carp fishing, what we call ourselves anglers, we base our lives on it. It's what we do. There's millions of other anglers out there that fish for carp that have no clue about these tournaments, that have no clue about even this live that we're doing right now, or any, you know what I'm saying? Like, still today, there's tons of anglers out there. We don't know what they're doing, and it's not just us. It's just as a community. It could be the guy that's fishing next to you on the bank that you've never met, you've never seen, and he's over there catching carp, and now you can go and teach them something. Watch what they're doing. If you see something they're not, hey, you could take care of that carp a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, give them a little knowledge. But too many people are too quick to bash. They're too quick to get loud and think that they're number one, and they're everything that they're saying is it, and that's the real problem. You can't see eye to eye if you got too many egos, too many chiefs and too many chiefs in the Indians hut. If everybody would just kind of take advice from one another, soak it all in, and maybe even adapt. As Jamie said, she wouldn't mind going to a pay lake. You know what I mean? I, I've taken many people that's never even been to a pay lake or even thought about carp fishing. They were bass anglers and they decided to go carp fishing with me one day. They adapted, they adjusted, and now they like it. So
I love
it's
it. I think we
it's a
all need to start
perspective.
coming together for the greater good of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole idea of it.
So, Jamie, question for you. Do you think, as it stands right now, the pay lakes are hurting or helping the growth of carp fishing in US?
I, I think
Generalize
it.
it.
Oh, don't do that to me. I'm gonna have so much hate mail already.
No,
Please
I
don't get in
mean,
my. I will cry, people,
Bef-
just so we know.
So real quick
Um,
before you answer that, j- what did we have here in Indiana yesterday? The Carp Expo Chili Meat, the 22nd annual, a combined group of close to 1,000 carp anglers from all over. People came from Massachusetts. They came from, I mean, all over.
all over,
We had tons of pay lakers there, tons of wild water there, and everybody came together.
and
Everybody
everyone
had a
got
great
along,
time.
didn't they?
Everybody had a great time.
Yeah. So
So it's not. It's. I think some people look into it too much, and I think, like as I said, I think it's an ego thing. It's a you can't see you're looking at an ace of spades, but you can't see the unicycle of the back of the card here. But yet, if I flip it, it's the same card. You only are looking at one perspective of it, and I think there's a lot of anglers out there looking at it from one perspective and not looking at both sides of it. I myself and Joe, we both look at both sides. We've both adventured both sides. So it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Um, I think that's just how a lot of it is. You have a lot of pay lakers that don't step outside of a pay lake. They won't go and fish a pond that's even in their neighborhood, but they'll go spend $30 or $40 to go sit at a pay lake and fish because that's what they want to do. Vice
yeah,
versa, you have a lot of wild water people that they look at a pay lake and are like, I'm not going to go pay $40 to go fish when I can drive to this lake and I just throw a rock. So it's tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? And I
no,
don't know. I
but
mean, I feel like we're all on common ground and we all are helping one another. I think there's just some things in there that too many people or like I said, too many egos in it. I think more people need to pay attention and listen to one another versus
sometimes perceptions are just that, perceptions, but sometimes perceptions are more important than actual reality. Uh,
exactly.
to be honest, Jamie, what do you think looking from outside in? How do you think other people see it? So I don't put you on the spot. Do you think it looks
so
like paylaking is making it more popular? We just maybe don't see it as much because we don't interact with the pay lakes, or do you
I
think
will
it's hurting the
say
overall look of carp fishing?
I will say there is an ego, a definitely ego. Like I can see a comment of this one person and they're being so egotistical. Just they're being mean, basically. And so that's what you kind of it's either you're going to be nice and like tell people your side or you're not. And you're just going to come out and be like F you. But for pay lakes, I think right now we're getting it's okay. People are looking at carp fishing now and like, man, this is a fun sport. But once Europeans start looking, or across the pond, start looking at us, and they look at our pay lakes, and they're going to see that fish care. I think that's then is where we're going to get hurt. But everyone to each their own. Fish how you want to fish. I'm not mad at you for it. I wish there was better fish care and more regulations, of course. But yeah, that's short, long.
Okay, Justin or Joe, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that as
Well,
far as the people overseas looking at it, I mean, how many come over here to fish?
a lot.
Big Duff was just in Massachusetts and he couldn't wait to come over here and fish. My buddy
Yeah,
Tony Bailey,
It's
Tony
happening.
Bailey Portis. He comes here once a year and fishes with me. We go to different lakes and stuff. I don't think the Pay Lake and what they're seeing over there is giving them an opinion of what our carp fishing is over here. They want to come fish over here because of our abundance of carp and our abundance of waterways. They don't have that over there. So
But I
they
mean, if
want to
you
come
look
here
at
and
like
fish.
at any
Their
group, and
vision
if
of it.
they see like a bad fish picture, which mostly probably
How many
90%.
bad pictures have you seen from the wild? I have 100. I have thousands of pictures on my Facebook, and I'm telling you right now, not all of them are from a pay lake. Most of them are. I mean, there's plenty. I've caught plenty of fish in the wild with no tail or busted fin, or
Yeah,
like I was talking to Rafal, talking to him yesterday a little bit about. I caught a 29.15 out of our canal right here through Indianapolis. It's an 8 mile canal. It's hard to catch a 20 in that canal. I was taking a picture of it. It flipped out of my hands. It bent its gill plate completely backwards. I was sick. I put it back in, made sure it swam away. A couple years later, it's been caught. It was a 30 then. It's been caught twice since then by the same guy. It was a 30. So fish get injured, accidents happen. Um, I've caught a lot of look like brokeback fish, maybe hit with a boat or something. A lot of it really is a genetic disease that makes their spine do that, and it just looks like they've been abused or whatever. You know what I mean? Or fins gone because of turtles or catfish, because that's not all happens in a pay lake. That happens anywhere. A predatorial fish is predatorial fish.
Well,
So
so good question. That not a question, a comment Raphael posted online that Europeans that are very involved in carp fishing know that pay lakes in the U.S. is barbarian. That's what they think. But I will also add this: I also know that the pay lakes in Europe, while the carp care is far more prominent because the setup is different. Not necessarily just the culture, but I will give them that the culture is different. The setup is different. So by virtue of that, the carp care will be better. However, you look at a lot of fish also caught over there by the virtue of this being also a pay lake, because that's really the term that we have to use.
it really
Those
is.
fish will not be often as pristine as the fish who has seen a hook maybe once or tapped twice in their wild life in a river or in a wild lake. So that's a fact too. Now, there's another aspect to it. Somebody just commented that there are people who start on the pay lakes and either transition to wild water or make it a hybrid lifestyle where both are
100%.
involved. But there is definitely an overlap. I notice because as a store owner, I see who my customers are. So I see a strong overlap between pay lakes and wild water, right? So I know that the carp care is good part of it too, because if Joe wouldn't mention this, nobody would notice. But he, for example, bought 40 Nash cradles at one point. That's an indication that, hey, he didn't have to spend that money, but he did, right? He ended up not using them at the end, but the money was spent, so the intent was there. That means that it is not exactly what some of them are thinking. Okay. Now, what I don't know is how much of an exception Joe is to some of the others. But I am assuming the truth is somewhere in between, just like to us wild water guys and women. Some of us talk the big game and walk the walk. Some of us talk the big game, but when the camera is not rolling, really don't take it as seriously also as they would like others to take it. So I know that there's a level of hypocrisy attached to it as well. Don't get me wrong. And I have a feeling it's the same thing with the pay lakes. The only difference is that the prevalence of somebody on a pay lake site showing publicly lack of care for the fish sometimes it's happening more frequently because of cultural differences, whereas on wild side there will be people that while they might not practice the best fish care, they will just not show it publicly because they will quote unquote get lynched, on social media and beyond. So I think there is an aspect of that as well, that I'm in the circles that if I would be seen with a terrible fish scare, I would be, taking out, in public, on all the forums, etc. Because the expectation is different than somebody who fishes a pay lake because of what's being seen sometimes on social media. I know that this is shit like that is not just detrimental, to general carp fishing probably, but it must be pissing off probably, for example, Joe, because seeing shit like that, if I would be in his shoes, I probably would not be in a good mood because I know what's going to happen next. Not only people already have those preconceived notions about pay lakes, the last thing you want to do is have somebody give them exact reason to repeat that and say that again. And by extension, you know how it is, right? Guilty by association. Just because you own a pay lake, you will be guilty of the same thing even if you don't do it. You know what I mean? So there's definitely that. The question is, how do we bridge it? The gap. And I find the gap to begin with a little bit odd, because if I have something to say, whether it's publicly now because we're doing a live stream or privately, I will say it to you and I will ask you. I don't have to be a you-know-what about it, but if I have some taboo questions, I will definitely ask them. So because I want to have an educated opinion about something. Okay, but I will ask those questions to Joe, and I did in the past. I spoke with Justin a couple of days ago. I asked Justin, and both of them gave me very honest answers about pay laking, to confirm some of the things that I do know, and maybe debunk some of the myths that I had in my mind that I thought I knew. Now, I am not here to defend anybody who practices bad fish care, but I also absolutely hate people ganging up on others. I'm not talking about just pay lakes. Notice when we have new carp anglers joining our Facebook group, for example. Usually when they come in, they come with an absolute shitty carp gear. That carp will be on the rocks somewhere, laying down. They'll be holding it, 8 feet up in the air, showing it. And I always say, don't start with an advice that somebody didn't ask for. Congratulate the kid or the grown-up on the nice fish, because if you're going to come across dickish, for the lack of a better term, you're going to turn them away, okay, instead of accomplishing what you either want to accomplish or pretend that you want to accomplish, okay? Congratulate them. The best thing to convert somebody into somebody with a great fish gear, in my opinion, is be kind to them. Don't point out all the wrongs right away. They will see it themselves sooner than you think. That's how I learned. I wasn't necessarily bashed when somebody saw my bad fish gear 20, 25 years ago. I watched what they do. It piqued my interest. If they would have ganged up on me, I would have probably walked away, and that would be the last that they see me. You know what I mean? We tend to get defensive when people tell us that we're doing something wrong, and no grown-up or child really likes that. So the question is, again, how do we bridge that gap between pay lakers and wild water guys? Because I don't think there's a huge issue. I think we are much closer as the groups than most of us are willing to admit. I think we are very close. And look, there's a proof to it. Joe owns a pay lake. Everybody's friends with him left and right. Justin is pay laking and doing wild water. I mean, probably half of your friends are wild water guys. And we don't squabble over that. But sometimes, in private, opinions are being shared. And I'm just thinking, why not just ask those questions to a pay laker or a pay lake owners that you are friends or friendly with, so that you can know, ask questions. What we're doing right now over here, everybody can do privately if you're more comfortable with. Get some answers. Maybe some opinions won't change, but I bet a lot of them probably will. Justin, how do we bridge this further?
I think a good way to bridge it really is adventure out. If you're a wild water guy and you're curious, go to a pay lake. If you're a pay laker and you're curious, go to the wild. You got enough people on your most social media and you see enough of it, ask some questions. If you want somebody to go fish with, you don't know how to go fish a pay lake. And that's something I will say about a pay lake. They're very most of them are very secretive. They don't like people to know what they're using, and they're hard. It's sometimes it's hard to get them to help you because they think you're there to take their money, and that's a wrong approach. You know, if we went into these big tournaments, say Baldwinsville or Connecticut, with that attitude, you know, here's a good example. Joe in that last tournament in New York, Joe helped our team out with some boilies. He was against us, but he gave us some of his boilies. So we had some of his boilies with the boilies we had, just in case. That's a true friend. Regardless if we're head to head, when that bell rings, he still thought about enough of us as another teammate, as another angler, to let me try to help you guys out. And I see that a lot in the wild or a lot in the pay lake where they don't want to help. They'll let you come and sit next to you and they'll let you
Yeah.
what they call donate because it's more money in their pocket.
This is getting stressful.
You know, so I think if more people, more wild water people just adventured out and maybe tried a pay lake or asked more questions, or a pay laker adventured out, fished more wild or asked more questions, I think that bridge could be gapped a little closer, a little, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I
Joe, what do
think
you
that's the
think?
difference.
Well, I think for one is some people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be straightforward, like I told you from the beginning. For one, people need to realize where we get our carp from. That you have a choice. We get the carp or they die. That's the number one thing. All this saying that we all go to rivers, and I don't have time for that. I work a job, and I know a lot of ponds that don't have time for that. We all work normal jobs. We don't have time to go sit on a riverbank and catch thousands and thousands of pounds. If they really, really realize you got to make a choice, you want that carp to die, or you want to live. That something's been going on for 80 years. Let kids and adults, elder people enjoy life doing, or you want to see it die. That's the first thing people's got to understand. That's a choice they got to make. The carp care thing is coming a long ways from where it was years ago to now because the price of carp is very expensive, costs us too much. You know, if you lose a carp, you lose money. I just don't like throwing money away. I don't know that anybody wants to throw money away. And two, I mean, the hate needs to just stop. I mean, at the end of the day, we all out there to enjoy ourselves, have fun, catch, enjoy life. It's all about life, enjoying life, have fun. You only live one time in your life. And if you sit here and grieve over what somebody else is doing in life because all you're doing is interfering with your own life instead of enjoying your life, but everybody just needs to be happy. Come along. I mean, I understand people don't think, taking the carp out of water, but you have a choice. Let the fish die or let other people enjoy it. A 3-year-old kid ain't gonna go wild water fishing. There's nowhere around here to go wild water fishing. Nowhere in my state, hardly. You can go to Virginia or you can go to South Carolina, but most you don't have nowhere around here to do it. I mean, this has been a family tradition for you have to look for many, many, many years. I mean, you can't just take a family tradition
I
and
said
throw
so
it down in a wall somewhere.
said it's an American tradition. It's not an American tradition to pay lake. There's only
It,
five
honey, these
states
pay lakes have
that
been around for 80 years.
was fishing. You can't say it's an American thing. Like it's only five
But
states, and they're all
I understand
all
that, but there was a choice. There was a
It's
choice. You let
five
the fish die or you let people enjoy it.
it's 5 states for carp. There's
yeah.
multiple states.
Yes.
Like every surrounding state
Or
around me has
catfish.
catfish
Right.
pay lakes. So
So I just got
Yeah.
one question here. I just want to ask Sam, and I want to ask y'all one question. So you prefer the carp die, go to a market and die, instead of letting a child or elder person or someone enjoy it?
That's not really a valid question, I don't think.
Why is it not a
It's gonna
valid question?
die no matter what,
Why is it not a valid question?
right? It's not, it's gonna
Huh?
die in the pond, right?
But it might live 15 years. It might live 10 years. But when he's caught in a seine net or gill net, he's going to get
So
loaded up on a truck and he's going
slow
to die
death is,
instantly. Huh?
I said a slow death is better than the fast death.
So a human being that's passing away slow is better than a fast death. At least he's
Listen,
getting
that
to
really,
enjoy life. So at least he's getting to
yeah.
enjoy his
Believe
family
me,
a little
that
bit.
hits close to home more than you probably know. But
I used to be a
I don't know.
caretaker.
Yeah, good. I don't know. Everyone should just enjoy fishing. I I think I've reached my limit of this conversation, to be quite honest. Like, I wish we could all get along with pay lakes. They're gonna get taken. They're gonna get put into ponds rather than being fertilizer. That's a good thing. What's not a
All
good
right.
thing is being taken out of rivers and whatnot, and just proper
I mean,
fish care.
I don't know that many people take fish out of the river. I really don't. I don't know where y'all get this from. And that's what I don't understand. We don't have
So,
time to go
Joe,
catch thousands of pounds.
maybe portion of it is coming out from the recent article that was shared. I forget to where, which state.
It was
Um,
just the Kentucky, the catfishing thing.
the
Okay, that was
Kentucky
Kentucky.
catfishing.
Right.
and that,
That was Kentucky.
and we're
That
and let's just
right.
at this moment let's just keep it on carp because the catfish they're
Yeah,
doing their own thing. Let's just as far
Yeah.
as the carp
yeah,
go,
it's like completely different. We know they're taking trophies out of that.
Well, the carp and catfish is two different things.
exactly.
I'm just saying
That's what we
carp.
just said. That's what we just said.
Right. But the carp thing is we buy them from somewhere they're going to die, or we can get them.
And we have multiple lakes in our state where they build houses around them where you can't have fishing access but unless you live in it. And then the homeowners associations goes to every one of the house every year and gets a certain amount of money to pay to rid the carp of the lake.
Yep.
And they have to do it year in and year out because
You know why?
ducks come
You know
in, they
one of
fly in, they where do them carp go? They
right.
get bought. They're either going to be food at a restaurant called Whitey, like we go to a restaurant here, we don't have whitefish, so we call them Whitey. Or we don't have Whitey, so we call it whitefish. That would be a buffalo or a common. Or they get sold to a pay lake. They get sold to another venue, another place where they can live a little bit longer, and they'll still get food. They'll still get caught. They're still, it's tit for tat. You can't look at what you might have heard of. Oh, these people are getting their fish. They're going and catching them and putting them in a boat or in a tank, and it has happened. Nobody can deny this. Okay,
You know, it's happened.
but to sit and harp on it and sit and be, you know what I mean, that's not going to bridge that gap. It's never going to help the sport in any possible way. We have to see, as we said earlier, eye to eye on the situation, and we have to start right here to see any further in the situation. um, I know for a fact that, I mean, I fished in Three Rivers in Wisconsin multiple times, and I know that in Wisconsin is a big state where carp get picked up in nets and then sold either to the fish market or to fertilizer, or if a pay laker knows that, or a pay lake owner knows that, hey, these fish are being caught and they're about to be sold, they have a chance to buy them, as Joe said, and they're paying, as you said, 275. I know for a fact that I've heard, and I helped some of the pay lakes unload their loads at night when they bring them in, paying close to $3 a pound. So I know Joe is not fat. That's 100% facts what Joe's saying there. They're paying good money for that load. If there's 3,000 pounds of fish there and they're paying almost $3 a pound, that's almost a $9,000 load. And they're putting multiple loads in a year, saving these fish. Either A, they're going to a fish market and you're going to pay to buy it to eat it, or you're going to buy, or so they're going to buy it and you're going to pay to fish and catch it. There's nothing wrong with it. And I guess I can see it both directions because I came from a pay lake originally. And I love the fact that I can go with a bunch of my buddies and we can all enjoy catching fish. We all can laugh it up. And let's just be honest. I ain't got to worry about DNR coming and tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, let me see your fishing license."
That's always a
You know what I
plus.
mean? You know what I'm saying? If I'm at a
Uh,
pay lake, I can have fun. You know what I mean? I can live a little. I can enjoy it.
I don't think you're saying it's not fun. And someone just said, I'm refusing to see your point of view. I'm literally here just in the middle. I'm just supposed to be the middle person. So it's not that I'm not seeing your point of view. I'm supposed to like say stuff, Like you guys are on here to tell us about pay lakes. I'm just doing the conversation. So I'm not refusing to see anything. So that's all I'm
No,
saying.
no. We just want
Like,
people to understand that we don't. Everybody thinks we take all these fish out of a river. Well, we buy them from commercial fishermen. We pay for these fish. It ain't like we go take thousands of pounds out of rivers to stock our ponds. That is not happening. I mean, I don't know a pond now can go sit out there and catch 5,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds in a week.
So
I mean,
I
I just don't see it.
I think that yes, Joe. So that's one of the two I think most important points to most of the people who are either on the fence or who disagree with anything pay lake related. Right. One is where the fish is coming from, and two, the carp care that happens after the fish is in a pay lake. So I do appreciate you addressing both of them. If anybody is joining just now, rewatch this because there's a ton of information regarding this. Again, our job over here is to provide you with the information so then you can make up your own mind properly. I understand that some will stick to their point of view because maybe a deal breaker for them is that the fish is removed from the wild, and beyond that, nothing else matters. I respect that. I understand that. Some will say, okay, as long as the fish is acquired legally, that's what counts for me. Some will agree with Joe that the fish is giving some extension of its life, and maybe based on the interview, it's not necessarily a barbaric one, but one that is definitely better than a meat grinder. So I think Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, that's the that's just I don't know. I care for life so much. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just all animals. I mean, it's like deer. Let me look at deer hunting. Deer hunting ain't deer hunting no more. They go out there and put some feed out there. They bait them in and they shoot them. That's not deer
Yeah.
hunting.
From
I
200
mean,
yards away.
it's yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, you can look at a lot of deer things different ways, but I just like. I mean, at least they're getting a chance and people's getting to enjoy them. I mean, you know,
I
I
think
don't
if we
know.
had
I
one
guess
here,
I'm different.
I might have taken my kids to it.
And I think you would. And kids love it. I mean, there's nothing like on a Friday, Saturday night. You got a husband and a wife and their kids running around and the kids are running around the pond. You got 10 or 12 of them playing together, and you ain't got to
I mean,
worry about somebody taking them and stealing them. And I mean, or doing something they shouldn't be doing to the kids. I mean, the women walk around. I mean, everybody talks. Everybody has fun. Everybody. It's a tradition that's been going on
It's a
for
good
years.
environment, right?
It's a very
believe me, I'm
there's
not
no
saying it wouldn't
drugs.
be fun. I'm sure it'd
There's
be
no
fun with
drugs.
taking.
Yeah.
All right.
No
So
drugs,
let's
no
do
alcohol. I mean, nobody's getting
let's
shot.
do this.
Give away that reel. Where's that reel at?
Right. So we'll do it in a couple of minutes. So here is a couple of closing thoughts. I mean, I'll provide mine at the very end, but I wanted to ask each and one of you before thanking you and politely letting you go so we can finally give away some
Yeah.
freebies. But final thoughts, and I'll start with Jami. Based on the conversation today, did anything was there anything new that you learned and anything that one way or the other uh, changed your opinion a little bit to the pay lakes in general from what it was before?
Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I mean, it's still the same. I mean, I've never really had a problem with paylakes. Um, just I wish there was like better fish care on those. But I mean, I to each their own. Like, I don't mind if you go pay. Like, I'm still gonna be your friend, and I'm still gonna like, hey, that's cool. As Justin, like, we're buddies, we're friends. I
We
think
are.
it doesn't matter. I don't care if you pay. Like, it just take care of the fish and enjoy yourself. That's pretty much all it's about. I just, you know, we were having a debate, and I had to be the bad person here. So
You ain't
quit
the
sending
bad
me
person.
messages, people.
You ain't the bad person.
No,
You're not
not at
the bad.
all. And I think, Jimmy, you represent a big portion of our viewers and listeners. Um, if you wouldn't be here to challenge some of this stuff, we wouldn't get some of the answers that we're getting. Okay. Frankly, me too. If you wouldn't ask some of those questions, I would. Okay. It's my job to not just moderate it, but be also a devil's advocate. So we can have this conversation because it appears like nobody wants to touch it with a 6 foot stick.
Of course not, especially if you're owning a company. It shouldn't, because if you say, hey, I don't like pay lakes, you're going to lose half your business. But I think I mean, you know what I mean with that. I think there should be an honest conversation going on about pay lakes. So it's out there. Like, I think this is going to give other people different views on the pay laking thing to see that it's not so bad. Would you rather take the fish here or so? I hate when someone says they're going to use the cart for fertilizer. It's it's so annoying. So I think this was good.
All right, so thank you for everything, Jamie. Thank you for your input, your thoughts. You're definitely sharing the concerns of many. Okay, and it's definitely Joe's job today was to clarify a lot of things and shed light on the others. I appreciate that he's not parsing words and looking for the perfect answer to be politically correct. Uh, Seems like Joe is really saying it how it is. He said a lot of things that people who own pay lakes often probably would not say, or they would try to sugarcoat it to the extent that it would just make them look fake. But I appreciate your thoughts on everything, and that was very insightful. And some of the questions that you've been asking and challenging, that was much needed. Justin, any final thoughts from you?
I mean, no, I mean, just keep an open mind. Just know that, some of the voices that you may be hearing or the opinions, they're from both sides. I know that, some of these people that I'm not going to name a name, but I know that, a comment or a post was made, you know what I mean? And there's some people like that in both scenes. Don't look at it just as a pay lake scene. They're in both wild water and pay lake. Ego is a big thing, as I said earlier. I really feel like if you kept an open eye and an open ear on all the situations around, I feel like you could learn more. And if you learn more, then you can maybe have a different perspective on the opinions that people are giving from one way to another. Other than that, I think we're on a good track. I think that in the last even 10 years, even here in Indiana, our carp care at the Pay Lakes are doing better. Our carp care in the wild's doing better because I'm not going to lie. 15 years ago, as you said, I didn't. What was a landing mat? You know what I mean? You find a nice grass landing, you bring the fish up in your net, and you put it on the grass, and you unhook it, and you don't even take pictures back then. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, 20 years ago, you just glad you caught a fish. You let it go, you throw it back out, you catch another. Um, I think a lot of people are worried more about the social media aspect of it, because social media is so prominent. It is in our lives nowadays. And I think that kind of also helps or hurts the situation. It can help and hurt, I guess, if I'm looking at that right. And if too many people look into it and they're on that rabbit hole of trying to, I'm going to find every reason why this is terrible and yada yada yada, and not looking at both sides and be like, well, why is this beneficial? As Joe said, there's the elders that can't get out, and maybe they can't. All of our rocky banks or our steep ledges or whatever pay lakes are made to be nice and flat, so they can wheel their wheelchairs out there and they can literally sit right there with a rod in their hand in a wheelchair and they can fish. As he said, little kids can run around and you ain't got to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? Every angler out there is going to keep an eye on them kids and make sure that they're having fun. You know what I mean? And when I was a kid and we were doing that, because that's how I grew up, you know what I mean? We were running around catching crawdads on the side of the bank and going and trying to sell them to the anglers. Or we'd have our bluegill rods out there because there was catfish in our lakes, which there still are here in Indiana, as well as carp. So we'd go try to catch bluegill or crappie and go try to sell them, make a quick dollar as a kid so we can go in the bait shop so we can get a candy bar, That was life for us. And it's no different than the life that they're seeing on the bank being a wild water angler. That's the life for them. And if we can all come to that common ground and just look at every angle and every aspect and have a perspective from both sides, I think that's the general, consensus. I think that's what's going to benefit and better. And I'm glad that Jami, she didn't hold back. She put her foot down. She stated some things, and as you said, some questions people have had. They've wondered for years. Um, Joe, he gave his insight. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that he was here because I couldn't have answered where them fish come from. I'm not a pay lake owner. All I know is I've helped unload those fish many multiple times in my 30 plus years fishing pay lakes. That's actually a thing I love to do. I love to go and be one of the first one to see them fish come out of that tank and maybe possibly get to hold one and be like, wow, check out this nice 30 or something. Or even if it was back then, we didn't have 30s. If you caught a 20 years ago and 25 years ago in a pay lake, you were doing something. You were doing big things. Now you catch a 20, you might have 5, 6, 7, 8. In Joe's place, you might have 30 20s caught in one night. You just never know. Times have changed. It's no different going to the wild. When I was a kid, we'd catch a lot of 8 to 16 pounders. You might catch a 20. Now you've studied the waters. You know where you can go and set up and you can bang 30s and 20s out right and left. You did your homework the same as they did in the pay lake. So I mean,
Th-
that's all I have to say on it. I feel like we're coming to a common ground. It's taken a little bit of time. Every year we're doing better, 100%. And we don't know what it's going to be like in 3 years, 5 years. We don't know if there's going to be regulations put on these waters, not just for commercial fishermen, but for bow anglers. We don't know if there's going to be syndicates, what we call, like Del Hollow. That's a sacred water. Lake Fork in Texas, sacred water. Are we going to start getting these waters with these regulations and permits put on, like you can't go and take these fish, from these sacred waters? These are places that you can go and catch record fish, and we don't want them fish to leave. So we don't know what path that's traveling at this moment. We'll find that out. All we can do is be a beneficial part to it.
And thank you for those thoughts, Justin, and thanks for
Hmm.
all the input, especially that you have one that is coming from both sides of the conversation, from wild water fishing and
Not a
from pay
problem.
laking. Thank you for that. Joe, any final thoughts on today's conversation?
No, I think Justin pretty well covered everything there. I really do. I think Justin pretty well covered all the boundaries there.
I think
And
so.
I just hope people,
I
I
would
just hope
ask
everybody
that.
else don't think,
Mhm.
we just bad people, man, because we're not really, truly. It's just something we've done in our life. I mean, everybody's growed up doing something in their life they loved and liked. And why should you hate on people just because it's their tradition? It's what, everybody, you got traditions. Jamie's got traditions. We all got traditions. And we all grew up a certain way in life. And why hate on people that grew up a certain way because what they done, what they do? Um, you know, but it's not what everybody thinks it is, you know. But I think Justin done a very wonderful job.
Well,
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I wanted to thank all of you just let me give some of my final thoughts, and then we'll do the giveaway for everybody. I do understand a little bit better now how deeply engraved the paylaking is in the cultural aspects of the region where the paylaking is popular, be it around Indiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, and elsewhere. I understand that people grew up that way and acquired the love or fishing or paylaking, whether it's for the aspect of fishing, gambling, camaraderie, or just having, like Justin said, a way out so they're not running the streets. Because there are some
Right.
things in life more important than fishing. So I do appreciate you pointing those out, because those are things that certainly, would not cross my mind for sure. I don't know about others, but I appreciate you guys giving me the perspective to understand what paylaking means to the people that were born into it and that might not necessarily have the same opportunities as far as activities for kids and juveniles and even adults as maybe somebody living in a metropolitan area. So I do appreciate that. I also appreciate Jamie's input that while those are important aspects of paylaking, especially the social ones, we are living in a world where information travels extremely fast and perception is very important. I do know that there's always a grain of truth to everything that we're seeing, or most of the things that we are observing ourselves on social media, at least a grain of truth. I know that it pains probably Joe and Justin and probably countless others to see when the fish is being not treated the way that they would want it to be treated, because it also paints or repaints a picture that many already see looking at paylaking. With that being said, I think that the gap between wild water and paylaking is much smaller than I thought it is. I think conversations like this one, and this is going to stay uploaded on our YouTube channel and Facebook for good. I think this will be something that we will refer people to watch and rewatch to get at least their information from. Because who better to get it from than a paylaker that also fishes wild waters, a paylake owner, somebody like me who frankly needs to get a little bit more information if I am to have honest discussions about this with others, not just with you. And Jami, who's not going to be afraid to ask questions and challenge you on a lot of things. Because if she's not going to do it, and I will not do it, people will not get the answers that they are seeking. Because she is saying, and I am asking what a lot of people who don't know a lot of things are thinking and talking around the water coolers. Now, we might not change everybody's mind, but I'm hoping at the very least that everybody watching this will have something to chew on, something to think about. And while we might not agree on everything, I think we really, truly have much more in common than what divides us when it comes to fishing. And everybody keep in mind, whether it's right now, although it's been extremely polite in the comment section, informative, I think this is why, because we do share a lot of information. But please keep this in mind even after the live stream when you leave comments. Keep it civil, just like we've been doing the entire live stream. This is all for you to really get the information, so then you can form your opinions or reform them if you happen to change it. If you're going to have any questions for our guests, leave them in the comments section. We are streaming this on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Comments are open to everybody. They are completely public, and they're going to stay that way. Okay. So again, I wanted to thank everybody for joining me. Unless any of you have anything to add, I will thank you again for joining, and I will try to focus on our freeloader watchers who are waiting for that free Italian reel.
All right.
It has been
I
a
took it
Well,
pleasure.
y'all
off
have
so
a
I
good
can get
night.
the real.
Joe,
It's been a
brother, thank you
pleasure.
so
I
much for
appreciate it.
joining. I really appreciate all your
Yep.
All
input.
right. I appreciate it. Y'all have a
Yep.
good.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good one.
Thank
Yep.
you,
Have a good
Joe.
one. Bye,
Let's all
James.
go.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, folks. Jamie, it's been a blast. Thank you so much as well. All right, everybody. Giveaway. Finally. This has been the longest live stream I think that we've had. We certainly didn't plan for it, but I had a feeling that it can go that long because the conversation is spicy, a lot of new information flowing, and guess what? This conversation is going to continue after the live stream. So, we're going to give away the free shiny Italian camo reel that I have shown at the beginning of the live stream. One last reminder, until midnight, which is for the next 3 hours and 42 minutes, we have free shipping on everything today. For that, you need to use a coupon code on carpangler.com that is SHIP0. SHIPZERO, all together. It doesn't matter if it's small, lowercase or not. Together, that's all that matters. One word, SHIP0. Free shipping until midnight on practically everything on carpangler.com. Now, I am going to announce the raffle rules. And again, we're raffling off a reel that is straight from Italy. We have shown it at the beginning of the stream. Let me see if I can pull it up one more time. And I will share it with you. And then we're going to run the raffle. So I'm going to show you the screen with the pictures. Here it is. So this reel, I think it's a 10 or 12,000 size. I think that's what it is. Don't take my word for it, but I think that's what it is. 10,000 or 12,000, hard for me to see. Straight from Italy. It is so solid that you can throw it at somebody and probably put them to sleep. Okay? So now let's go over the rules. Everybody, get ready for that giveaway time. When I type in and tell you to go, and only in that time, you're going to type in a number between 1 and 1,000. Okay? And whatever the winning number will be, you cannot go over it. If you go over that number, you will be disqualified. I'm posting the rules in writing right now. And I'm going to read them again. Only after I say go, pick a number between 1 and 1,000 and post it in the comments section. Pick and type only one number. If two people pick the same number, the person who did it first owns that number. When I say stop, the number entries can no longer be added. And we will randomly pick the winning number using the number generator that I have on the other screen. We're going to do it in front of you live. The person closest to that number, the winning number, without going over it, will win. So for example, if the winning number is 500, and one person commented 499 and the other one commented 501, the 499 would win it and the 501 would be disqualified, even though they are both equally close to it. Okay? So again, I put the rules over there and let me get prepared. Okay, so get ready, guys, but don't type anything yet because if you do it too early, Elizabeth, hold your horses. Don't type it yet. Okay, wait for my sign. I will tell you when to start. So again, when I tell you start, you're going to post the numbers between 1 and 1,000. Keep in mind, if somebody posts that number, only then pick a different one if you're sure that somebody used that number already. Okay? Let me see. Start now. Go ahead. Pick your numbers between 1 and 1,000. Okay, everybody, go, 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 go. Pick your numbers between 1 and 1,000. Whoa, they are flowing. Wow, that was some show today. That was freaking amazing. And remember, type your number, pick only one number. That's it, just one number. Do not pick twice so you don't get disqualified. One number between 1 and 1,000. All right, let's give it another moment. Give everybody a chance to comment. And keep in mind, we have the comments coming from Facebook as well as YouTube and Facebook group and Facebook page and my personal Facebook. I have all of them here. So I will try to find that winner before we disconnect. Okay, I'll give another moment. Give another moment. Going once. Going twice. Come on, anybody else that didn't type in their number yet, between 1 and 1,000? Going once. Going twice. Thomas entered his. Is Thomas the last one? Once I'm going to post a comment saying stop, anything after that will not count. Okay, going once, going twice. All right, I'm posting a comment. All right. All right. So we stopped. Now it's time to turn our attention to the magic screen where we're going to pick the winner. All right, so we have our spinning wheel, numbers between 1 and 1,000, and we're going to pick somebody who's going to hopefully cut some chunks with this new fancy reel. All right, everybody, ready? Here we go. And spinning. All right, spinning, spinning, spinning. What's the winning number? 716. 716. So remember, somebody has to be at 716 or below. 716. Sam Williams is at 666. 666. 668 is Clearwater Carp Pond. 668. 668. Anybody closer than him? Oh, Gary Cayley has 712. That will be very hard to beat. Let's take a look. 712. 712. Nope. We have a winner. We have a winner. Where is he? Here it is. Gary is the winner with the number 712. Gary, congrats. Send me a private message. I'll get you sorted out where to ship it. And congratulations, you're the new winner of the fancy camo carp reel straight from Italy. So let me get back to my camera. All right. Everybody, some closing thoughts, as if I didn't give you enough. We're going to do another live stream in probably about 2 weeks or so, because I do have a Buffalo trip set up. First time wetting my lines this year. That's happening in about a week or a week and few days. So I think in about 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to do the next live stream. We're going to see who we're going to bring as a guest. But we're going to try to do another exciting one. And guess what? Another giveaway. So we'll do that soon. I hope that all of you enjoyed it, the live stream. Excuse me. I hope that all of you got the information that you were seeking. And if you did not, ask questions, leave the comments, and we will answer. Our guests will answer as well. Joe, Justin, Jami, me, we are all here to answer the questions that you might have. So think about it. It doesn't have to be right now. I have a feeling that this topic is not going to die out anytime soon. But we will answer all the questions that we possibly can that are going to appear in the comments section. So, thank you everybody for joining. I am glad we didn't lose connection because I am in the midst of a blizzard. And now my punishment for being with you over here will be grabbing my snowblower probably, or the shovel, and cleaning outside. So everybody stay safe. I know that the weather for some of you is absolutely awful today, for me as well. But I hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to see you again soon. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining, and thank you for the amazing, amazing show that we had. Have a good night.